Mr. Kapoor. Thank you for your time and welcome to this conversation where we talk about your film. What's love got to do with it? And I'm sitting in India right now, and I surely know what the movie is all about because we've kind of watched this entire concept of what's got love to do with it. While the elderly members of family arrange a marriage, in your film it's called assisted marriage, which is like a much better word, easy on the senses as opposed to arranged. And the elderly members always have to say the same thing. What's love got to do with it when two people are getting married? Love happens. You walk into a marriage, a dialogue, a scene in your film goes like this. You walk into a marriage and then love happens. So, and what a beautiful ensemble. You were directing it. Jemima Khan has written it. The British producers have put in all their money and hard work there. Sajal Aly from Pakistan is there. Emma Thompson is a British actress. Shabana Azmi is an Indian actress. This is beautiful. How did all of this happen?
Well, listen, I did not write the first draft of the script. The script was sent to me by Working Title, which is a company I worked with before. They're the ones that produced Elizabeth and the Golden Age with me. So I've known them for a long time. And it was script by Jemima, and I read the script in its first version. And exactly what you're saying, I thought, even though they keep saying it's a rom-com, it's a very relevant thing. I was quite fascinated by, this idea that we are all searching for love all the time. And love, intimacy is the same thing. It's about, so really what we're doing is it's a fundamental need, a fundamental human need to find intimacy with others. We are a sharing race, And so I kind of got fascinated with this idea of Zoe, the girl, played by Lily James, who's now a huge star all over the world. We were lucky to get her. And Zoe is this girl who is addicted to Tinder or to dating apps, any kinds of dating apps, and hoping that somewhere in that dates and constant dates, she will find somebody that she can fall in love with. And I was fascinated by what is that process? What is it? And I remember Lily asking me what I thought. And I said, I think you're in a tumble dryer. You're just going round and round. The character Zoe, not her. The character's going. And then she suddenly has this best friend who actually has given himself no choice. So on the one side, there's almost as much choice as you want. Remember that before the dating apps, women didn't have the choice. Now a young girl can, or anyone could go to a dating app and say, I want to date this guy. I want to date this guy, and can reach out herself. And there's no longer any kind of, chant ladki hai. It's straight. It's straight. Boys and girls are now exactly in the same situation. So at one point, there's as much choice as you want. On the other hand, with your parents, you give yourself up to no choice. Bhaiya, tum dekho, you watch it. So somewhere in between, there is this concept of how do you find love? And what I like about the script is it doesn't tell you. It's not like a rom-com, every rom-com at the end ends with a chase to the airport or the train station, and the train went, but the boy or the girl stayed behind and they hug and they live happily ever after. So my conclusion is that, or the film also says it, love is not a happily ever after. Love is a constant yearning, a constant need. It's a constant longing. And it doesn't matter if you found your soulmate or you found your life's partner. If you don't wake up every morning with a constant yearning for your partner or a constant longing for your partner, love's dead. So to me, love is the most used word. I promise you, it's the most used word on social media also, or in our conversations also. Yet it's the greatest mystery of life. That's what I'm fascinated by. It's so mysterious that we all talk about it. Soulmates, this way, 100 ways we talk about love. It's a mystery.
So true, so true. And having grown up in India, I mean, likewise, you and I both. We have watched Suraj Barjatia's movies. Just a couple of weeks ago, I was in conversation with him about his movies, and then he told me that a woman walked out of a movie hall after watching my movie, and she walked up to me and she said, "Why do you make these movies? You know it's not a practical world. You know this is not happening anymore. Love doesn't exist. Everything is so practical these days." Then I was in conversation with Karan Johar, and I told him that in your movie, the actor says, the protagonist says, शादी तो जिंदगी में एक ही बार होती है, and in the same movie he actually gets married twice. So what has been told to us, the society, by way of movies has been quite contradictory to what actually happens in real life.
Yeah.
And there's this huge confusion about what love is, and can we marry again? Can love happen twice? I'm in conversation with Javed Akhtar a couple of months ago, and in front of a huge audience, live audience, he said, "Who says love cannot happen twice? Who says you cannot marry twice?" So the Indian audience and the society is also going through this huge turmoil, a change, a positive change, where we actually need catalysts like these movies, such as yours, What's Love Got to Do with It, to reinterpret the meaning of love and marriage.
Yeah, love can happen multiple times. I think we confuse love with ownership. You know, it's the biggest, the easiest way to kill love is to say, "I love you, you love me, now you belong to me." What does that mean? How can any one person belong to another? Every person. Love exists in the whole concept of freedom. So you can fall in love. I fell in love multiple times. So what can I say? And we fall in love all the time, and we get committed to one person. That doesn't mean we can't love another person, So it doesn't mean that now that you're committed to some one person, you put love in a little prison, like a little cage. No, it's there. That cannot. So yeah, it's love. As I say, it has to. It's a constant mystery. It will stay a mystery. It'll always be very, very mysterious. And that's the adventure of love. It is mysterious. There's a huge adventure in it.
This movie is actually being liked by so many people, and it's actually cross-cultural experience, where you get to see and experience different cultures and how the same thing is interpreted in a different way by another country and their countrymen. You have a British actress, Emma Thompson, and an Indian actress, Shabana Azmi, and a Pakistani actress, Sajal Aly. Shabana Azmi views cinema as
a huge British star, Lily James. Yeah, she's actually the biggest name in the film right now.
Absolutely, you're right. So the thing is that the world is increasingly become smaller and tinier, and we all are essentially world citizens now. What do you think are the qualities everybody, especially in our subcontinent, should have in their personalities for them to become more inclusive, diverse, and adaptable?
Well, one of the reasons that I was very conscious of this is that it should not be perceived as a monoculture. This is about this one culture. This is about, because it's happening in Lahore in Pakistan, it is their culture. It's exactly the same culture in Indian weddings. It's exactly the same culture, the way we get married, the 7-day celebrations, all of that is the same. Now, this idea that we call arranged marriage, let's take that. Which marriage in the world does not, in some way or the other, this concept doesn't exist. I know several Jewish friends of mine whose parents are constantly trying to get them married. They fall in love with somebody else, the mother likes somebody else. So that's true in every culture. Do you remember that big, huge film, My Big Fat Greek Wedding? The Greek girl fell in love with somebody that wasn't Greek, and the parents went against that. Or the recent one, there was a huge hit called Crazy Rich Asians. Oh, how can you make your own mind or who you want to marry? We, the family, will tell you that. And I remember when I had the first trial, first showing for cast and crew and everybody, 3 young men came up to me from my crew. One was Scottish, one was English, and one was Spanish. And they said, Nani Chan that you've shown is exactly like our grandmothers. So the whole idea behind this, I was very, very keen that people see this. It doesn't matter that this is the culture all over the world. These are families all over the world. All over the world, it's the same thing. It's the same. The search for love is very similar all over the world. The idea that families exist the way that they exist all over the world. So I'm very happy that you're saying that, because it's very important for me that people all over the world see it as their family. This is not just the family in the film, it's their family, right? And we were making the film, when I was shooting the film, COVID was rampant in London. People were dying in ambulances. There were no hospital beds available. And every morning at 4:30 in the morning, I would go to the set because I like to get there before, like 2-3 hours before anybody else. And I'd think, my God, am I going to be able to shoot today? Will somebody be down with COVID today? Will I go down with COVID today? So there was a gun to my head all the time. Oh, all of us, everybody's head. But we got through. We shot the film in 40 days, finished it. And I think that in itself gave the film a certain intensity. The fact of the intensity that, I mean, who's going to survive? We don't know.
Yeah.
And for me, it was very important. And I knew that after COVID, that people are going to want to be family. So somebody asked me, what do you hope after this film people will feel as they walk out? I say, well, a smile on their face, a few tears in their eyes, and the desperate need to hug and to call family.
Yeah. True.
Now we lost that in COVID, and this becoming a big reminder of how important family is.
Yeah, so true, so true. You know, I want to tell you of an incident. A friend of mine who's in the armed forces had a very bitter divorce, and he told me, and this is a statement that he used, that now I have realized in my 50s that men and women are the two sides of a road and they can never meet. It's good to meet once in a week, a chat, and then go back to their respective worlds. And I said, no, I don't agree with that. In this world, where women are becoming extremely independent, men are also caught between the two worlds, one that was told to them by their mother and the one that they see on social media and in the changing cinema and in the changing outdoor landscape. There is definitely a shift which everybody needs to adapt to in order for them to have a beautiful, peaceful life. What do you think are the expectations of men and women from each other now that you've traveled to so many countries?
You know, there was, and it lingered for too long, this idea that the girl is supposed to be shy. Kinni pyari hai, you know, kinni samajhdar hai, kinni pyari hai, and the boy would accept the fact that the girl has to be shy. And if the girl said no, we were told it's okay, it's okay. She's just saying no because she's shy. It went on for so long. It was exaggerated in all our Hindi films,
Right.
The shy girl and the aggressive boy and the same. That has started to shift. There is no longer that the girl is shy and the guy is the aggressor. That has to shift, and that's one thing that has happened, and I'm so glad it's happened. Nobody's shy. Men are shy. Women are, and women can take the lead. So that has shifted, and it's taken a long time for it to shift. That doesn't mean that families don't want to still decide. They're not necessarily looking for a shy girl. They're looking for somebody that they think will be good. Because remember, arranged marriages were never between two people originally. They were between families. It was a family idea, so that because we were all living in joint families. Now we don't live in joint families, right? Because of the urban shift in India and everywhere else, you don't have houses big enough to have joint families. So it's a guy and a girl. It's a man and a boy and a girl together. They have to now carry each other's burdens. So that shift has happened. So we are in a place where everybody now is sort of trying to find their way about what is this relationship between men and women, and we are finding our way. It's fine. But the way, finding your way can only be in equality, not in terms of, there cannot be a predetermined space of who's on top, who's on bottom, who's more forceful, who gives in. It cannot be. It has to be a sense of equality in which, in a relationship, you work it out. And it's a day-to-day thing that you work it out. But also remembering that if there's love, there's mystery. So you wake up in the morning and the other person that you're looking at is like, has to be some pretty mysterious. That was, what can I discover about my partner today? What do I know about my partner today? Because remember also that love, if you really love somebody, they become a mirror to yourself.
Yeah.
So in order to say that they're not mysterious, you have to say, well, I'm exactly the same as I was always. You'll never say that about yourself. I'm constantly in flux. I'm constantly moving. I'm constantly a different identity every day.
Hmm.
So must she for me, or so must he. So love
Yeah.
is a constant journey. And that's what what I really like the script when Jemima gave to me. He said it's not a little ribbon tied and done. It's a constant journey. It's a constant
Constant journey.
process of
Yeah.
discovery.
Yeah, and as Rumi said, let there be space in togetherness. It's a famous quote that love is not two people looking at each other, but looking together in the same direction. The word is constantly changing its interpretation. Tell me about the making of the film. It's been shot between Lahore and Britain, London, and with such an big ensemble cast and various ways of living. I mean, look at the way I'm just imagining what the set would be like with people from different nationalities, cultures. How much time did you take? You told me 40 days you're taken. But how was it? Now that you've worked on this project, how are you a changed person? And what are things from the making of the film that have stayed with you?
Well, it's the changed person that has already been changed that has influenced this film. And so, who you are gets reflected in the film, who I am at that moment. But that does not mean that as an artist, you don't learn from the film. Because what I do is I never tell the actors what to do.
Okay.
Okay. So I do a lot of kind of workshops, not rehearsals, but workshops with the actors. And then I hand the parts over to the actors and say, now you interpret the part from how you are, not from how you feel or how you feel the character should be, but from inside. And so what you learn is your constant state of learning as, Lily James is interpreted like that. Oh, I didn't know that. I didn't know that character could be like this. You actually discover what the character is like. Oh my God, Shabana did this. I see. We had long conversations, but somewhere an intuition has said this character is like this. And you've lived with those characters you're making the film, and each actor is teaching you. I'm directing, but learning at the same time. Each actor is teaching me how of human behavior in context of what is happening. It's all different, and that's what makes them great artists. What Emma does, an amazing actor. So I go, wow, okay, that's interesting. That's how she did. So we talk about it, and I understand. So I constantly am in the process of learning and understanding human nature by working with great actors, like I did have in this film.
Absolutely. And in the end, this is a British production. Now, considering it were an Indian production, the problem with commercial Indian cinema is that in order to be relevant and in order to be liked and in order to be successful at the cinemas, it keeps peddling the same stereotypes because it doesn't want to shift the change. It doesn't want to go against the tide. I want to know, for those people who have not watched the movie, when you say assisted marriage instead of arranged marriage, and there is this girl who's a documentary filmmaker and constantly on dating apps, not being able to find love, not being able to find the right person, while there is another man who's a childhood friend getting married to somebody back in Pakistan and just understanding how it will work without having any idea of how it will work. What is the problem? Finding your true soulmate is a big problem all over the world. But I want to know, what is the solution that you have provided? What is the end, the climax? What does it look like? Is that arranged marriage a successful marriage?
I don't think the film it's not preaching. It's not telling you this way, because for everyone, for you, for me, for everybody that you know, and all your friends that went to see the film, they will come out with a different idea. Each one based on their own life experience. So that's what good cinema does, and good drama does, and good art does, is each person interprets it from their own life experience. So you will look at this and, that's how it works. So if the film actually told you and preached to you, it would not be that interesting, because you'll either reject it, aisa thodi hota hai, But what is really good about the script, and I have to say Jemima was the one that actually, when I first got the script, I saw that it was allowing the audience to find themselves in the film. And so you and I and everybody else who wants to find the film is going to come away with a different idea, a different message. It's the kind of film. It persuades you to ask the question, and it persuades you to drop every, it persuades you to drop any prejudice that you have. Don't be prejudiced. Take a look at this and then ask yourself.
So true. And the world so needs to be so less judgmental, don't you think? I mean, the very fact that the writer of your film is Jemima Khan, who actually spent 10 years of her life, originally a British citizen, lived for 10 years in Pakistan, comes back after the divorce and that married life, and writes a film that actually is in a way celebrating, or maybe doesn't have any animosity to a culture, to a particular country, which most movies sometimes kind of get that tone in their movies. I mean, this all is like true celebration of cinema.
Yeah, yeah. It's true celebration of culture, looking at the culture, a true look at it, a very warm, compassionate look at that culture that she experienced. She's still a British citizen, by the way, but this is a very, it's a very compassionate look without saying it's fantastic or it's terrible. I think it's just a look at it. It's very observant. It's very nice. Yeah.
Very observant. That's such a lovely conversation. Thank you, Mr. Kapoor. I'm so looking forward to watching, actually my entire family watching What's Love Got to Do with It. And surely we need to reinterpret the way we find love and stick with it once we find it. Thank you for making this film and look forward to more of your work.
Thank you very much. Thank you.